Late afternoon baseball at McCoy. We're coming back your way for another Sim ball game. 4.5 innings scheduled this afternoon for the Red Sox alternate training site squad. We know them as the Taxi Squad. And Tanner Houck continues to be stretched out. He is expected to throw 5 half innings here this afternoon. And as you can see, he is on the mound here as we get ready to get things going. Welcome back to our live coverage. It's presented by Bank of America. My name is Josh Maurer, and Mike Antonellis, as always, is my partner. We've allowed Jim Kane the afternoon off, so Mike is also pulling double duty as the director. He's going to comment, he's going to push the buttons and select the camera shots that you see. A very talented partner. Hello, Mike. Welcome back.
Thank you, Josh. Double pay, too, I've been told, from Dan Fontaine.
No, I believe that would be incorrect, unless you got a deal that I did not get.
No, he's thumbs down.
No.
Happy to be here, Josh. You're right. Right off the bat, you talked about Tanner Houck. Him going 5 innings, I think, says a lot.
Tanner has been stretched out 1 extra inning each time we've seen him pitch here at McCoy Stadium. He went from 2 innings to 3, last time out 4. And now today, as we've talked about, expected to throw 5. And as you look at the Red Sox looking for answers in their starting pitching rotation, I think, Mike, that signifies that they are certainly wanting to see what they can get with a stretched-out Tanner Houck, who was a starting pitcher, lest we forget, his entire career until last year.
Yeah, you and I talked about it. Even if Houck came in after the opener, they called the bulk guy. Technically, it's still a starter. You'd prep the same way, and there's opportunities. The Red Sox have 3 TBDs this weekend in New York. Oh, and by the way, in about 22 minutes, a guy that was here not too long ago, Kyle Hartz, is getting called upon. So, Josh, that forces some internal battle competition. If you're Tanner Houck, you said, I want to turn now.
We are certainly going to get into that as our broadcast goes along. 4.5 innings scheduled here again this afternoon from what Mike has dubbed Sim City. And we're going to try to get that to catch on. I think we should get that becoming the hashtag. Instead of hashtag Sox Taxi Squad, let's get hashtag Sim City going on Twitter.
Well, you know me, I used 2 hashtags today. That is a violation. I use both, but I like the Sim City one.
It'll be Yairo Munoz coming in first, then Jonathan Lucroy to hit second against the former first-round pick by the Red Sox out of Mizzou. 24th overall pick in the 2017 draft was the 24-year-old Tanner Houck. From his overhead windup, and we get underway with a pop-up. See if there's room here. There is a lot of it on the apron, and how about a catch by Pareda? On the run, a basket grab. That's how we start things. That was a heck of a play.
Yeah, first pitch, he's out of the crouch, and just the way he turned his arm, Josh, to make that play. On the run.
That is, catchers all over the place will tell you, that is the hardest play for them. And you're trying to get out of your crouch and then locate a foul ball. Then you have to track it down. You've got the equipment on. And he did it, twisting and turning.
That was really good hands by Centeno.
Johnny Pareda.
Oh, Pareda, yeah.
That's all right. We got 4 catchers here. Hard to keep them straight. Here's one of those, Jonathan Lucroy, the veteran. We figured he'd take a pitch, and he does. It's strike 1. Glad you could join us here. It's Thursday late afternoon. Should be here for about the next 90 minutes or so. Josh Maurer, Mike Antonellis. Dan Fontaine back up in the press box on your high home camera. 0-2 on Lucroy. Thanks to Joe Jacobs, Tim Quintadamo. They are each in the house today here from the press box high atop McCoy. They run Paw Sox Productions, the Pawtucket Red Sox, happy to present Boston Red Sox Taxi Squad Baseball. You can see it's overcast. In fact, it has really cooled off as the afternoon has gone on. There's ball 1 on Lucroy. Temperatures have moved into the lower 80s now with the cloud cover. I appreciate that because today already it's been up around 90 degrees.
Yesterday felt like 100 from 7 in the morning till 7 at night.
We've gotten to see a lot of Mr. Lucroy here over the past week. In the air, there are no outfielders, so that's going to be an automatic out. Jeter Downs, who's playing second base, took about 10 steps onto the outfield grass to watch it fall harmlessly. Out number 2. If you're new to these sim game broadcasts, they mix and match the defensive alignments as much as they can to try to replicate what would be a regular situation. But again, it's not often possible. And today, apparently, Maybe this man, Jarren Duran, and Cesar Puello. Those would be the only two outfielders that are here with this taxi squad. And they must each be in this, what they call batting group, so they're each in the dugout. No outfielders, 4 infielders behind Houck. And Duran, as he's done very often, swinging early, and that got a piece of, I think, the hand of Pareda. Boy, and that really stung him.
Yep, Josh, it did. Just the advantage of having the view here in the director's chair.
Maybe not even the hand, Mike, I'm told. Maybe that got him in the midsection.
Yeah, and it looked like it could have gotten both spots.
Athletic training staff out to look at Pareda, who just made that terrific basket catch to start this sim game.
He's had an adventure, huh?
Yeah,
First inning?
Been a very up and down 4 minutes here or so. Well, the Red Sox get underway, as you said, in about a 20-minute wait. They're just a little bit tardy from us up at Fenway, 45 miles to the north of Pawtucket. And Kyle Hart makes his Major League debut as they continue to look at Pareda. Mike, you, I, and also Jim Kane have spent a lot of time discussing how much sense it seems to make to give Kyle Hart a chance, but especially you look at what's going on now with losing those 3 straight games to Tampa, needing a boost, needing a starting pitcher, and today they're going to count on Kyle Hart not only to start, but probably give him as many innings as possible.
Yeah, I spoke about this the other day. Just because it's 60 games does not mean you can just keep running guys out there. They need some length today. You expect over the weekend you're going to need that against the Yankees, but boy, if you can get 4 innings today from Hart, you'll take that. And the Rays have been a tough customer, but so happy for Kyle. I've gotten to know him over the last couple of years. Big moment. A little weird, too, Josh. There'll be no one in the stands, but he'll never forget this day. And
he's been used to the empty stands, pitching here in these sim games at the alternate training site. As they continue to work on Pareda, Jet Bandy, the 4th of the catchers currently here, he's come in from the bullpen where he was warming up Domingo Tapia, and now he's going to have to take over as the catcher. As that happens, Jonathan Lucroy, who just popped out, is going to put his gear on, and I assume he'll replace Bandy out in the bullpen. We hope that Pareda's okay. Kyle Hart, over the last 2 appearances that he made in sim games, you can take this, I guess, with a grain of salt, but for whatever it's worth, he pitched 11 1/3 scoreless innings, during which time he allowed only 3 hits and only 1 walk. He actually, as a AAA pitcher with Pawtucket last year, Kyle Hart did have times where his command did elude him. So it was great to see during that stretch all the scoreless innings included impeccable command in Sim City.
He executed all of his pitches. That's all you can do here.
So there are 2 outs. It's an 0-1 count. Duran swings again. It's going to be a 1-2-3 inning for Tanner Houck. And a play for Marco Hernandez, only man on the left side of the infield. Good start there. Tanner Houck, it took him fewer than 10 pitches to record the 3 outs, and now Domingo Tapia about to come in from the left field bullpen. Opposite Houck, who is scheduled to go 5 innings here today, here are the other pitchers that we will see each for just 1/2 inning. On the schedule, Tapia, RJ Alvarez, Robinson Lair, and then Seth Blair set to appear in a game for the first time with the Red Sox. Meanwhile, here comes Domingo. Dan is finding him, and there he is.
Dan's got him. I still think it has to be a little weird, though, for a big league debut with no fans at a big league ballpark, but I wonder once you throw that first couple of pitches, you'll be so locked in.
Kyle doesn't seem to be a guy who's going to be impacted by a lot of butterflies either. He's pretty even-keeled mentally.
But I think of all those times where they show the family and the crowd and all that.
Yeah, and I think that is one of the biggest losses from baseball this year, where you don't have fans in the stands. I've talked about these on our broadcast earlier. This point is, and one of my favorite things is when you watch a guy make his major league debut.
Yeah.
Now all the time, the television crew is able to find his parents or his wife or girlfriend in the stands and watch them react.
They're like chewing their nails.
It's
so
great.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's must-see TV for a baseball fan.
Maybe they could bring them in virtually. Did you hear Kyle Hart's dad immediately? The first thing he said to him was, "Hey, here's the lineup for Tampa." Told him how are you going to attack the lineup. That's the first thing.
So Mr. Hart was giving the scouting
report. He was right in. Like, what's your plan? He was worried his mom was.
What are you going to do against Manuel Margot?
Yeah. Boy, they've won 12 of the last 13 at Fenway, the Rays. It's unreal.
That is remarkable. Including the first 3 of this series. Boston trying to avoid a 4-game sweep. So here's Tapia getting set to go. Bobby Dahlbeck has gone out to third base, and now he's being called off the field. You don't see it on your screen at the moment, but Dahlbeck just got called in by Billy McMillan. Maybe Dan Fontaine can get us a shot. Well, he's gone already. Dan had gone to attend to some other matters, which is why that camera was stuck. But anyway, we'll see what happens defensively now that Dahlbeck has been called off the field, and we'll keep an eye on that. Yairo Munoz has moved to the only man on the left side of the infield. Marco Hernandez will go to second, and Josh Akami over at first. Jet Bandy remains the catcher, and now we'll have an outfielder for the first time today. It's Jarren Duran right in the middle of the outfield. Let's keep an eye on that Bobby Dahlbeck situation, eh?
Yeah, I'll let you know if he's on deck at all.
C.J. Chatham to bat for the first time against the hard-throwing Tapia. Boy, nobody's waiting around today, huh, Mike? First pitch swing to 3 of the 4 hitters.
It's a getaway day. Sim game. Guys are attacking, too.
Chatham first, then Jeter Downs will be next. 1 ball, 1 strike. Domingo Tapia is in his 2nd season in the Red Sox organization. Hard thrower who was originally coming up in the Mets organization. Pitched his entire season a year ago with AAA Pawtucket. Fooled Chatham there to get ahead. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 96 miles an hour on the fastball early from Tapia, who when he's fully stretched out, we've seen at times hit triple digits with regularity on the gun. 29-year-old. 1-2. He's lashed foul the opposite way by Chatham. The sounds of a normal ballpark being piped in from the music crew here at the Pawtucket press box, which we appreciate, and the players do too. Down and away, that's the breaking ball, and that's the thing we talk about very often when Domingo's on the hill, Mr. Antonellis. Secondary pitches. What do you use to play off of your fastball?
And if he can get that better and more consistent, makes him a tough customer to face.
His last fastball was 98 miles an hour. Got him looking, and that might have been even faster. A dart over the inside corner from Domingo Tapia to put away C.J. Chatham.
Yeah, beautiful pitch. It had a little movement, but you're right. That was perfect aim by Tapia. That's really where he wanted it. Unhittable pitch.
The last time that Tapia pitched in one of these games, Mike, it was at the end of that really long game the other day. I think it was on Saturday when we played 9 innings. And he didn't have any fielders behind him. It was kind of a tough day to judge how he did. Jeter Downs takes a strike. The strikeout pitch, by the way, was 98 on the radar gun yet again.
And Dahlbeck is on deck, so I guess they wanted him to hit.
Last time we saw Jeter Downs, he hit a home run against Darwinzon Hernandez here on Tuesday. Ball that carried over 400 feet in the end. I thought maybe got a little wind aid, but still an impressive poke. So we've yet to have a base runner this afternoon. If you're watching curiously, got him looking. How about that? Good morning, good afternoon, good night. We've been seeing, Mike, I was going to say, just great pitching. That's been the story for a couple of weeks now here in Pawtucket.
Yeah, and I like how Tapia's throwing. I mean, he's really commanding everything, but the fastball is outstanding.
That was 99 miles an hour.
Paints.
Here comes Mr. Dahlbeck.
So I wonder if they changed the hitting groups with Pareda getting hurt.
That must be it, yeah. And again, we're hoping that Pareda's okay after the foul ball he took. This is a fun matchup, huh? Talk
Yeah.
about power against power.
I was just thinking that.
Bobby Dahlbeck has no problem turning around 99 miles an hour. If he squares it up, it's going to go a long way.
Or if he gets one. First pitch was a breaking ball, but yeah, I want to see the fastball to the power-hitting Dahlbeck.
Another slider. Caught the corner, 1-1.
Robert Stock was assigned back here today for the Kyle Hart move.
That will add some more velocity here to the alternate training site. Stock did pitch in the game a couple of nights ago against Tampa when he got called up. There's the fastball, but it misses low, and it's 2-1. 2 outs on a pair of strikeouts. In that game today that gets underway now in just about 15 minutes, Kyle Hart in his debut is going to have to face a tough one. Tyler Glasnow is on the hill for the Rays. Big swing at the fastball there. There was the power on power, and Dahlbeck is shaking his head.
And Tapia put that in a good spot. It wasn't knee-high, just right below it. So the Red Sox facing Snell, Glasnow, and then Cole tomorrow.
Doesn't get much easier. 2-2. Outside, a full count. C.J. Chatham, who was the first batter, is the next man up. He's in the on-deck circle. So this is really only a 3-man hitting group at the moment. Position players are at a premium for Billy McMillan. Payoff pitch is coming. Here it is. To the breaking ball, and he walked him. Oh, I guess it's 3-2. My mistake.
No, you're right. Because he threw 2 breaking balls away, a fastball away. That would have been ball 4.
So this would be a 4-2 pitch.
You never know what you'll see in Sim City.
That's it.
Jim Kane is missing this.
Now the 4-2. On the ground up the middle. Nice range there by Yairo Munoz behind the bag. And that makes it, I guess with a bit of an asterisk, a 1-2-3 inning for Domingo Tapia. No base runners as yet through 1, and Tanner Houck is going back to work. Josh and Mike, we are presented, as always, by Bank of America. Let's pause for these words from our great partner.
We are entering a new chapter in our lives. Our confidence is shaken, cracked. We didn't ask for it, but we are rising to meet it. And how far we've come isn't even close to how far we can go. There's a crack in everything for a reason. How else can the light get in? Tomorrow starts today. We are entering a new chapter in our lives.
Hey, here we are. All right.
Our confidence is shaken.
Hello.
Cracked.
Hello.
We didn't ask for
We've
it.
been caught in the
But
act.
we
We
are
are in our
rising to
socially
meet it.
distanced broadcast
And how
booths.
far we've
I
come isn't
am
even
Josh
close
Bauer. That
to
is
how
Mike
far we can
Antonellis.
go.
Hello, everybody.
There's a crack in everything.
Hello, Facebook.
for a
Hello,
reason.
Twitter.
Yes, thanks
How
for
else
tuning
can
in.
the light get in?
Maybe you're just catching a glimpse from the simulation game before the Red Sox start.
Starts
Or maybe you're
today.
on a
We are
replay
entering a
watching
new
this,
chapter in
whatever
our
time it
lives.
may be, Thursday night, Friday,
Our
Saturday.
confidence is
Catch a
shaken.
replay of any of these broadcasts
Cracked.
anytime, thanks to Facebook
We didn't ask
and to
for it,
Periscope.
but we
We
are
miss Jim
rising
Kane.
to
He'll be
meet
off
it.
for the weekend,
And how
but
far
don't worry, we
we've
got you
come
covered.
isn't even close to
And
how far
these
we
are
can
important
go.
innings for Tanner
There's a
Houck, no
crack
question. He
in
got off to a great
everything
start
for a
late.
reason.
Yeah, he definitely. He that
else
pop-up
can
that
the
was
light
caught by
get in?
Pareda got Luke Corey, got Duran on weak contact, but I know we've talked about it a lot.
Starts
But I think
today.
it's okay to
We
continue
are
to beat this
entering a
drum.
new
There's
chapter in our
opportunities. I mean, if
lives.
you're down here now as a
Our
pitcher,
confidence
you've
is
got to
shaken.
feel like any day my
Cracked.
number can be called. And
We didn't
if
ask
you're
for
Tanner
it,
Houck and you get the note
but
you're
we are
throwing 5
rising
today,
to
that
meet
has
it.
to be a good sign.
and how far we've come isn't
How about
even
this breaking
close
news?
to how far we
The
can
Red Sox
go.
have just made another
There's a
waiver
crack
claim, by
in
the way. Hey,
everything
we're back
for
on
a
camera. I
reason.
didn't realize Joe Jacobs.
How
Joe wanted
else
to be
can
on.
the
We
light
have to
get
put
in?
Joe on.
Joe's got a fresh haircut today, too, so showing it off.
Tomorrow.
The Red Sox have claimed
starts
Christian
today.
Arroyo off of waivers.
We are entering a new chapter in
former
our
Giant, I
lives.
believe.
That's Christian Arroyo
Our
was a
confidence
really big
is shaken.
prospect at
Yes.
one point.
Cracked.
He's still only 25
We
years
didn't
old.
ask
He was
for it,
waived today by
But
the
we are
Cleveland
rising
Indians.
to meet it. And how
Shortstop,
far we've
infielder?
come isn't even
Outfield.
close to how far we can go.
I mean, 41
There's a crack
Major League
in
starts at
everything
third,
for a
11 at
reason.
second, and 9
How
at
else
short.
can the light get in?
And Arroyo, waived by the Indians,
Tomorrow
added now to the Red Sox
starts
40-man roster
today.
and their
We are
60-man
entering
player.
a new chapter in our lives.
First up, Akami
Our
against
confidence
Houck with a
is
shift
shaken.
on the right side of the diamond.
Cracked. We didn't ask
And I
for
think
it,
the Red Sox were two
but we
under
are
the 40.
rising to meet it. And how far we've come isn't
Yeah,
even
no
close
corresponding
to how far
move
we
needed to
can
be
go.
made. So swing
There's a
and a miss,
crack
1-1.
in everything for a reason. How else can the light get in?
Actually, this makes 40 now. Thanks to Christopher Smith.
Tomorrow starts today. We are entering a new chapter in our lives.
Josh
Our
Akami had some good
confidence is
contact
shaken.
earlier this week in these sim
Our-
games.
We are entering a new chapter.
1 ball, 2 strikes. In fact, he ripped a run-scoring double against youngster Jay Groom here the other day. I think that's a really interesting pickup. You get a guy like Arroyo with all that talent. It's never really worked for him in the major leagues. Akami stays alive.
But like you said, only 25, which really is not old at all.
First round pick in 2013. It's, again, just so highly thought of there with the Giants. He ended up going over to the Tampa Bay Rays. That was part of the Evan Longoria deal.
So there's history there with Heim Bloom.
Got him looking. Strikeout for Tanner Houck. That's his first punch out. He had the very quick first inning, and now he's retired all 4 batters that he's faced. Yeah, it was right after the winter meetings 2017. Christian Arroyo over to the Rays, and that was when the Giants had picked up Evan Longoria. So an infielder, you know, with the struggles of Michael Chavis, you wonder if that's part of the thought process. He's not had a good start to his second year in the big leagues. Cesar Puello takes it inside. Puello, then Marco Hernandez up next. There is an outfielder behind Houck in this, his second inning of work, unlike in the first. Jaron Duran stands in center, and you've got 4 infielders that are pretty much straight away. There's his slider.
So no word if Arroyo is going to work out here before, or we don't know that yet. But could be another position player in the mix, which would be nice.
Yeah, the announcement that was just put out by the Red Sox doesn't specify exactly where he's headed, but I'm guessing they just don't know yet.
Yeah. He could always work out at Fenway for a little bit.
Not only is the 40-man full now, so is the club player pool at 60. Inside to Cesar Puello. So it's full count. 3-2. 1 out here in the second inning for Tanner Houck. The game's still looking for its first base runner. See what he throws. The payoff was the slider that misses in. So now we have our first base runner. I'm not surprised he threw that pitch, Mike, and you're going to see a lot of sliders from Houck no matter the counts, but in a 3-2 situation, you have to be able to be confident you can throw it for a land strike, which he was unable to do right there.
No, and that thing takes off, but it usually takes off late in the zone, and he knows at the next level that's a pitch you can get swings and misses on.
1 on, 1 out, Marco coming up. It's interesting, here on the video board at McCoy, they have put on the Red Sox television broadcast. So these guys who are playing are able to watch the guy who was their teammate up until just yesterday, Kyle Hart, make his major league debut.
Got permission from the big guy, Billy McMillan.
I think that's going to be really interesting to see how Kyle Hart faces against that tough Tampa lineup. Marco swings through that breaking ball. But anyway, it's also going to be fun for these guys to watch Kyle Hart. There is the shot of Fenway up on the video board here in Pawtucket.
And he's gotten a good look at that team last 3 nights.
You know, when Kyle spoke to the media here on a Zoom call Monday, he said, I'm I feel like I'm ready. I feel like it should be my turn, but I'm still mentally prepared to just pitch another sim game. Runner goes on a grounder back to Houck. Thought about it, and then thought better of it and short-armed it. He was lucky that Munoz was able to scoop that throw.
Yeah,
Isn't it fascinating, Mike, how difficult sometimes it is for a pitcher to throw the ball to first or second base?
Absolutely. It's amazing how many times you work on that, and still when that runner, especially to second, they can't lead the fielder or throw right at the bag. Sometimes they're throwing where the fielder is. But yeah, you're right. I know it doesn't happen a lot during the course of the game, but maybe it just catches you so off guard. You're just so locked into throwing to the plate. But you are right.
That one looked like a shot put.
But not only at this level, in the big leagues.
You're right, all the time. And it's not just throws on grounders. It can be pickoff throws.
Yep.
So a runner at second with 2 outs. And ball 1 on the catcher, Jet Bandy.
He's had a lot of jump on that breaking ball. That thing is flailing and floating everywhere.
It is.
Man, he can throw that thing in so many different ways.
They're going to shift Jet Bandy with 3 infielders to the left side of the diamond. 1-1.
It happened, what you're talking about, a pitcher throwing to second, I think in Game 1 of the Red Sox-Rays series. And Remy said you could see it coming from a mile away. As soon as the pitcher turned to throw to second, throw it to center. But there's kind of just the angst in the feel of nervousness sometimes from the pitcher.
And the reason I say it's so amazing, Bandy fouls it off. You're looking at a guy in Tanner Houck who makes his living out of throwing a baseball with accuracy.
Yeah.
But of course, it's just a different mechanical thing, maybe a different mental thing when you're throwing to a base instead of to a hitter.
Well, I remember my first memory of the yips was Steve Sachs, and I didn't understand how that could happen. The second baseman just couldn't throw to first anymore.
Remember what happened to Chuck Knobloch
Yeah.
with the Yankees? Foul tipped and held on to by Luke Roy. Great job, and that'll end the inning. Well, anyway, it is 3 outs. Tanner Houck doesn't remember how many outs. Now they tell him, yeah, there was 3. Maybe you and I, Mike, we're doing a better job today remembering counts and outs than they are down there. Everybody a little rusty after a day off.
And they're watching the Red Sox game.
They're going to pump up the Dave O'Brien Nesson audio here for the taxi squad. RJ Alvarez is the next pitcher due up. Long-haired right-handed hurler is going to come out to pitch. Unofficially the bottom of the second inning.
We've seen a lot of him. Alvarez has been pitching frequently. A free agent the Red Sox signed and has thrown the ball well down here. And Kyle Hart's big league debut is underway. 27 years old, Josh. The last Red Sox pitcher to make his major league debut was Jalen Beeks in 18. The last win in an MLB debut was 5 years ago.
Eduardo Rodriguez.
Yeah, all from the Red Sox notes.
I remember watching Eddie pitch that game back in 2015.
Be nice to have one today.
Josh Maurer, Mike Antonellis here with you. It's Red Sox Taxi Squad Baseball as we bring you all their games presented by our great friends at Bank of America. So in comes Alvarez, who spent last year in AAA in the Marlins organization, pitched for New Orleans. Has big league time much earlier in his career with both the Padres and the A's. And as you said, he's looked very good here. Last year, 50 games as a reliever and as a closer for New Orleans, the Baby Cakes, as they were known then.
And you know what's interesting, too, Josh, is he's getting a lot more looks. He's been pitching a lot this week.
Do you think that has some significance?
Who knows?
It sounds
right?
like, yeah.
I mean, you never know. But I think you made a good point, the fact that you need innings in the big leagues right now. We get it 60 games, but, I mean, you can't have – I think every other start outside of Evaldi and Perez has been 4 innings or less. Even over a 60 game, you can't have that. guys will get hurt.
I heard Ron Darling speaking today on a podcast. He said that.
He's terrific, by the way.
And he is. He's one of the best analysts out there. Former Met pitcher who's become the Mets TV analyst and also does national work for Turner. And he said that this would be about the time when most pitchers in the middle to the latter stages of a spring training would get the dead arm.
Yeah.
So you'd pitch for 3 or 4 weeks, then you get the dead arm, and then you just have to kind of wait for that phase to run its course before you feel normal and ready to start a season. And he was equating a lot of the injury problems that pitchers, big-name pitchers, have had thus far in this shortened season. He was saying that maybe that has something to do with it.
Yeah.
They're forcing themselves out of their comfort zone.
And maybe we get fooled with the time of year they're playing. We just equate summer with, okay, it's not spring training anymore.
Yeah, it's August.
Yeah, but Scherzer got hurt right away in his couple starts ago. But you're right, a lot of pitchers are going down.
Dave O'Brien's given the same stat that you just gave on the Nesson broadcast.
He's reading it right off the Red Sox terrific game notes. Josh and I came up with our own titles today for Kyle Hart.
Yeah, we were talking about this in our game broadcast here the other day about the game note headlines that were possible for Hart, of which there are plenty. And my vote was for "You Gotta Have Heart."
Yeah.
They went with "Heart Attack" as the headline, but Mike, you came up with some others.
Turn on my heart light. Heartbreaker.
Heartbreaker might be actually the best.
Heart Attack Kid. But
And then I said "Total Eclipse of the Heart."
that's a good one, yeah. That's what we do, and everyone who's watching is saying, really? That's what you guys do before the game?
Boy, this is an extremely long between-inning break.
It's almost like somebody got hurt when a pitcher comes out of a game with an injury. Unless he did not throw it all in the bullpen. Did he not?
Yeah, maybe that's the issue.
Dan's saying he did not.
Yeah, so he's getting his warm-up for the 1/2 inning he is scheduled to throw in the game. He's getting the warm-up for it on the mound.
Okay, so Dan, there was no catcher out there, I guess, right? Okay.
That must be it. With the injury to Pareda earlier today, they've had to reshuffle how this is going to work.
And they can do whatever they want here.
Well, who's going to stop them? Right?
Yeah.
All right, RJ, he is set. And the good news is Mr. Pareda, who got injured, took a foul ball off his hand and midsection. He's going to bat. So he's healthy enough to hit, maybe not catch.
I'll let you tell Billy not to do that again.
I'll give him a call. Bandy is still the catcher. Alvarez misses. Puello is in right. Duran is in this hitting group, so he is not in center. Third to first, Marco Hernandez, C.J. Chatham, Jeter Downs, and Josh Akami. The 1-0, 2-0. We've been impressed by R.J. Alvarez's fastball. It's been sneaky effective. Gets a lot of swing throughs. It's a big day also for the future of the AAA franchise that normally calls this ballpark home. The Pawtucket Red Sox, who next year are slated to become the Worcester Red Sox. Did he swing? Fake appeal. Bruce Crabb says a strike, 2-1.
Look like that's Akami who has Puello. Puello's a little far away.
I thought Bruce was just building the drama there.
Yes.
But today was the topping off ceremony up at the new Polar Park site in Worcester. In the air to right, that, as I told you, is where the one outfielder is positioned. Fortunate for Alvarez. One out. Polar Park set to open in April 2021, and that is now just about 8 months away, if you can believe that. And they finished the topping off today, Mike, which I know you had a chance to watch. It was the final steel beam being secured to the foundation.
Yeah, and there's a guy up there really securing that and tightening that final beam in there. So that was on social media and watching that live. I get a lot of anxiety watching somebody on the top of a steel beam like that. But, boy, those guys are amazing, the work they can do.
I think you're like me. You're thinking, better you than me.
Yes.
Up there. Yairo Munoz against Alvarez. He falls behind a second straight hitter. They've been working essentially double time up in Worcester on that ballpark construction throughout the summer since it resumed. Had to take 7 weeks off just about during the COVID shutdown. Marco Hernandez takes a couple steps to his left and slings it over to get out number 2. 2 up, 2 down. Again, an impressive start for R.J. Alvarez.
Yeah, a lot of movement on that fastball. It's impressive to see how far that ballpark's come. I live close to it. I have a chance to go over there maybe once a week. It's amazing work, people who can do that. And it starts with a vision, too. This is what we want. Build it for us.
So they've had construction crews working pretty much morning through very late at night. You get the first shift and the second shift every day, trying to make up for lost time. Lucroy takes a strike. You and I got the opportunity to go up there about a month ago and take a behind-the-scenes construction tour that Janet Marie Smith, the designer, the Cezanne, if you will, of these ballparks. And Janet Marie was at the topping off ceremony today. She helped show us around, and it was pretty remarkable to see how they're putting it all together in such haste.
Yeah, even just being inside without the ballpark completed, we were in the concourse, and it just gives you some goosebumps. We saw where the bullpens are, but beautiful.
2 out on Lucroy. Pitch misses outside, and it is 2-1. Pareda is going back out to the bullpen, by the way. The injured catcher apparently okay to resume his catching duties. So now we will not have to have, presumably, any more on-game mound warm-ups. Full warm-ups. Bottom of the second. The only base runner was a walk. 2-1. Another play for Pollo. Back into his right, and it's an easy inning for R.J. Alvarez. He says, I want to pitch a little bit more. That was too easy. Let me keep going.
Yeah.
And he will.
Yeah, sometimes with these innings, it's on pitches. So Kyle Hart gave up 2 runs in the first. They were unearned. He did have 2 strikeouts. He walked the first guy, but...
Well, there was a defensive miscue.
Yep.
By Jonathan Arauz.
Inning could have been worse. He got Renfroe and Lau. He struck those guys out.
Arauz has had a nice week, actually. The Rule 5 pickup the Red Sox have kept on the Major League roster. Unfortunate, his error leads to a couple of runs, and Tampa Bay playing from ahead again. Jarren Duran against Alvarez, so a 4th batter in the inning that RJ faces. We will keep you posted, although I do have a sense that if you're watching us, you don't need us to be updating you on the Red Sox game. Robinson Layer will be the next pitcher to come in. He's throwing in left field at the moment. The bearded right-hander with a 1-0. 2-0. Durant gets the overshift. This is somewhat the Akami shift. Chatham, the shortstop's playing where second base normally would. Downs, the second baseman, is playing an in-between. There you see it. Akami right over near the line. 2-0. Ball 3. So I've had a few weeks now to form an impression of Jarren Duran, and it is quite an impressive one. Because you hear about a guy who has as much speed as he does, and his batting average throughout the low levels of the Red Sox organization has been exceptional. And you think, all right, maybe he's kind of a slap hitter who uses his speed. But at this stage, that is not the case.
No.
He's turned on balls. Tried to there, ambush 3-0, and he was a little bit late.
Yeah, he's big. I mean, the way he's built, he's not a singles hitter at all. We saw him at a home run on top of the warehouse here in center. It's 425 feet. There's a view of where just to the left of the 400-foot sign.
He had an RBI hit a few days ago that had an exit velocity measured at 108 off the bat. That time he broke his bat and blooped the first hit of the day. And Alvarez is thinking to myself, oh, look at Duran. He's hustling for second base on that. Now, I know Pollo, the outfielder, didn't charge it probably as rapidly as he might have in a normal game situation, but still, That was impressive to see Duran take an extra bag as the half inning is rolled over, and that'll do it for R.J. Alvarez.
I like how Duran plays. That's how Bryce Harper played when he first got into the big leagues.
But Alvarez is probably thinking that might have been my best pitch of the inning, Mike.
That was a muscle hit for Duran, and that's part of his game now. Strong guy, good fastball, but he won that at bat.
Robinson Layer is coming in. We were scheduled to get 5 half innings from Tanner Houck today, and let's see what happens now because Layer is coming to the game mound.
Yeah, maybe they're not going to play as many innings. That's the only thing I can think of. But if they wanted Houck to get his work in, he'd still be out there. Who knows, Josh, right? Things change.
And we will tell you that the plan that we were given is over 24 hours old at this point. So those things are very fluid and change sometimes minute to minute, not even just hour by hour. We do have to thank the Boston Red Sox for allowing us the opportunity to bring you these games, not only the pictures, but also with our commentary, because, frankly, they don't have to let us do this.
Right.
And to have the access that we have and then be able to then give that on to you as you watch these games, that all starts at the top. So thank you to the Boston Red Sox for permitting us the opportunity because we enjoy it wholeheartedly.
Yeah, we're the only gig in town in minor league baseball providing this every day. And I know a lot of people are watching, too, which is nice. It's great, too, on social media because right now you can watch whatever you want. You watch the Red Sox that are on now, but you can have your computer, laptop, your tablet, phone, and you can bring us anywhere.
So now we're going to get questions, and you and I do frequently get questions after games like this, and something unexpected happens. And we'll get asked, well, what happened to Tanner Houck? And the easy answer is I don't know, which I don't. But I can tell you that there didn't seem to be anything amiss. He looked actually very sharp, and it was 2 innings where he didn't allow a run or a hit, just 1 walk.
Yeah, things can change day by day. But you're right, no, I didn't see any injury.
That's not to say there wasn't one. It's not to say he didn't feel something. Or it's not to say that there is. We just don't know. Layer is a guy who is in his first year pitching up at McCoy Stadium. We've been impressed to see him. Now, his outings haven't been quite as sharp as I think the previous pitcher, R.J. Alvarez, if you're kind of ranking the right-handers who have pitched quite a bit here at the alternate training site. Layer came over to the Red Sox organization mid-season last year. You saw him with Double-A Portland 15 outings, Mike, as their broadcaster. But at times he's been very solid. At other times we've seen him give up a few hits.
Yeah, it's his command. That's really been the one thing. I mean, that's probably standard for a lot of pitchers in the minor leagues. But he can get it up to 98. He just is not consistent with his fastball and slider. But when he's on, he's tough to hit.
Bobby Dahlbeck first up, then Jeter Downs will face the hard thrower. Position players continue to dwindle, which also is generally an indication we have found out that the game is getting closer to its conclusion. When the defenders behind the pitcher start dropping, that means guys are heading into the clubhouse. Right now you just have 4 men behind Layer. You got Yairo Munoz as the left side infielder. Marco Hernandez is playing second base, although he's pretty much right up the middle, and Akami at first. And Duran is in his normal center field perch. He knows that grass as well as anybody in the world these days.
Look at this, 3 rosin bags out there behind Layer.
0-1. Yeah, there's 3 rosin bags, one of which belongs to him.
Yeah. Have you seen all the stuff guys are putting on their hats in the big leagues?
No.
You can see with the Rays. I mean, the hat looks white on the back. So I don't know what they're putting on there.
To the breaking ball, it's 2-1.
I think they're allowing them to do it, but even position players are doing it.
Is it rosin?
I think, I mean, it looks, you know the color the Rays hat is blue. I mean, it looks white on the back. If I can find a picture, I'll send it to you.
Well, it's probably not chalk.
No.
2-1 to Dahlbeck. Out of play. Challenge fastball there from Robinson Leyer, Leyer, 27-year-old, originally out of the Dominican. So only 2 innings from Houck, 1 each from Tapia and Alvarez, and now Leyer in the unofficial top of the 3rd. We'll see where we go from here. 2-2 pitch. Got him swinging. Good stuff to put away Bobby Dahlbeck.
Yeah, good sink on the fastball. We are expected to see Seth Blair, and I think he's out there throwing now. So for me, that would be one more half inning, Josh, if I had to take an educated guess.
Looking forward to Seth Blair getting into a sim game for the first time. He was just recently acquired by the Red Sox. Former first-round pick who's got a unique story that we'll get into. There he is. Mr. Blair. Jeter Downs against Leyer. Bobby Dahlbeck's going to come out and play third base after he just struck out. Grabs glove, says, I'm going to come help you out. Billy McMillan says, thank you, Bobby. This is our common refrain, Mike. The number one rule you need to know in these simulation games, there are no rules.
Yeah, yes.
A little bit low on Jeter Downs.
Yeah, it's interesting. Before you got here, I could hear through, when the window was open, Rich Gedman yelling, there's some rain coming. So I don't know if they factored that in, but like you said to me, it doesn't look like it will be here for a while.
There are some storms that are to the south of this Pawtucket region. Fouled off. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I just assumed no rain because it's been, I think it feels like it's been 85 for 3-4 months in a row.
It does.
Every day.
It feels like sometimes it's been 95. Leyer originally was signed out of the Dominican by the White Sox. In the air, foul side of first. Akami, he knows that territory over there. They've played a lot at AAA Pawtucket, and he knows how to play the collars. Good catch that time for out number 2.
Yeah, a lot of room over there.
You know, there are very few ballparks that have as much foul territory as this one does. The only one that has more. I'll make this in the form of a trivia question for you, Mike. What is the one ballpark, and it's a big league ballpark, that has more foul territory than we have in the collars, the aprons at McCoy Stadium?
Oakland.
You nailed it.
Yeah.
Right away. But look at that right there. You see how much it is? And pitchers love it. Hitters absolutely despise it. Chatham takes ball 1. If you talk to a hitter, if you spend an entire season playing for AAA Pawtucket during the years that they called this yard home, they would tell you lose anywhere between 10 and 15 at-bats over the course of a season due to the extra foul ground. Balls that would generally anywhere else get out of play get caught.
And isn't that the interesting thing about baseball, where the stadiums are different, things can be different, wind?
Yeah.
So if you're playing where the wind's blowing in, a lot of those baseballs will go in the stands and not be outs.
2 out here. Chatham swings and misses.
See why pitchers lose sleep.
I don't blame them.
Only if the wind was blowing in
Right.
tonight. I mean, I was watching Godley pitching last night, and Chavis had a ball get stuck in his glove, and then an error there. Pilar loses a ball, and you're thinking, geez, tough gig.
Chatham fouls it off. Fastball there from Leyer. Stay alive. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Red Sox have come back.
This might be a 4-hour game, Josh.
Getting early offense against Tyler Glasnow. After they fell behind 2-0. Chatham pops another one towards Akami. Doesn't need the foul ground that he had on the last one. That would have stayed in almost anywhere, and it's a 3-up, 3-down inning. Is that enough for Robinson Leyer? We'll find out. Yes, it is. He says, I've thrown enough pitches.
It's the red-hot Kevin Plawecki, Josh. He has been one of the hotter hitters when he's got a chance to play.
Plawecki just drove in a couple of runs, and so against Glasnow, how about the start for the otherwise kind of struggling Boston offense?
Glasnow had a tough outing in his lasts. Well, this is a layup, Josh. It's the Seth Blair Project, right? You could use that as a nickname.
Yeah, I was thinking something about Blair Witch. Anyway, it's 3-2 Boston. There have already been 5 runs scored at Fenway in the first inning after the 2-run hit by Plawecki. Seth Blair about to make his way in for what we anticipate to be the final half inning of today's sim game. So let us take a moment and pause for these words from Bank of America.
We are entering a new chapter in our lives. Our confidence is shaken, cracked. We didn't ask for it, but we are rising to meet it. And how far we've come isn't even close to how far we can go. There's a crack in everything for a reason. How else can the light get in? Tomorrow starts today.
So Dan caught us already. You can see us. That's our, in golf they call that the playing through, or in NASCAR you see them during the commercial break, what's still going on. So you can see us here in the press box while you watch that commercial. Anyway, we're back in the booth, and it's going to be Seth Blair's first appearance here in a sim game to finish out what is a shorter than anticipated day for us. Just 3 innings this afternoon, presumably done after this. But Mike, Blair was the first-round pick of the Cardinals back in 2010, an Arizona State product. And it did not go well in the Cardinals organization for him. He made it through 2013, so just 3 seasons in that organization. 2014, I beg your pardon, is when he finally was, so it was 4 years with the Cardinals, and then he was injured, he was battling, and he gave up the sport. The next time he pitched professionally was last year.
Crazy.
It was 5 years that he wasn't in professional baseball.
And I saw during the pandemic he was having workouts at his house. How about that? But to take that much time off is amazing.
And now the Red Sox have just signed him.
Josh,
sent him here to the alternate training site just about a week ago.
Little note on Christian Arroyo. He's out of options, so he has to be on that team, or if they put him on waivers.
Well, they could keep him here in the alternate training site.
Oh, he has to be on the 28.
Oh, he has to be on the.
Yeah, he's out of. Yeah,
my mistake.
Yeah,
because he's on the 40 man. But you're right. You can't send. This is a little bit into the weeds, but
or he could be on.
For those who don't know, right? You
yeah.
can't. Being sent to the alternate training site is essentially the same as being sent to the minor leagues, which you can't do to a guy who does not have an option.
Or he could be on their roster but not be with them, which I don't think they would do.
All right, so Seth Blair. So last year, as he returned into baseball, he was in the Padres organization playing in Lake Elsinore in the California League. Pitched in 17 games to a 4.1 earned run average, which actually in the Cal League, Mike, is very good.
Yes. A lot of wind.
But you can only wonder what it was like for this guy for those 5 years that he was out of baseball. And then to make your way back into it, it's quite the feat, not only physically, but probably mentally as well.
That's a lot of time to take away from the game. And he comes back last year, and now his second year back is during the pandemic, and he's pitching in the Red Sox system.
He's going to play again with only 1 outfielder behind him. Duran stays in center, and 4 infielders, the full allotment. Marco Hernandez must be in this hitting group because he is not out there. You got Dahlbeck moving to first, Yairo Munoz at third, Jeter Downs and C.J. Chatham at second and short comprise the middle of the infield here behind Seth Blair. Boy, we've seen some long warm-ups on the game mound here in this sim game today.
Yeah, and he was throwing a little bit in the bullpen, but really it was soft toss, almost like he was long tossing.
You can hear Dave O'Brien and the Nesson broadcast in the background of our voices being played on the video board here at McCoy Stadium. One more scheduled inning today. We're back at it earlier tomorrow. We anticipate, this is not official yet, but because it's a dining on the diamond day at McCoy, we anticipate about a 1 o'clock start time for the Sim game. Mike and I will have it for you. I hope you can tune in. Again, thanks for being with us here on this Thursday. Got you live and in color, thanks to Twitter, the Periscope feature, and also Facebook Live. Cesar Puello up first, Marco second, and Seth Blair is finally ready to go. They do now have, in both the major leagues and the minor leagues, they've got a clock between innings that would have halted this lengthy warm-up time in a normal situation. From the high home camera, you get a look at that first pitch, and he wasn't waiting around. Puello took a big cut.
Yeah, and nobody, remember, is familiar with Blair here.
That's a great point. Everybody else has, at this point, it feels like the full book on all the other pitchers. He's got a three-quarter sidearm. Kind of a funky delivery that can be very difficult for a right-handed hitter to pick up.
Yep.
Comes at you from that different angle. Hides the ball. And he's ahead of Puello, 2 strikes. Down on the breaking ball. I love the high sock, the full stirrups look that Seth Blair is going with there on the pitcher's mound. He's wearing number 62.
We always say that's old school, but a lot of guys are doing it now.
You know, we just got the first readings from the radar gun for Seth Blair, and it was 96. There it is again to strike out Puello. I mean, from that three-quarter arm slot to be hitting 96 on the gun, that's filthy.
Yeah, most guys don't do that. And I want to see his other stuff. I mean, wait till he throws a slider in there if he has one, or any kind of breaking ball.
I mean, that was big league right there.
Well, you say he was chomping at the bit to get in.
Now, I don't want to make a proclamation that he just should be anointed all of a sudden the 8th inning guy in Boston, but one batter in, quite impressive. Now he gets a left-handed hitter in Marco Hernandez.
I think we should start that here. Why not?
Yeah, they wouldn't listen to us anyway. Hernandez batting. 1 out. And a big cut at a fastball. You can imagine that Mr. Blair has a little extra adrenaline pitching in a sim game for the first time, but still, adrenaline or not, hard to get that kind of action on a fastball from that arm motion.
It's just not a look you see a lot.
Overshift is on. My goodness, nothing in 2.
Yeah, that stuff plays. You know, Buck Showalter always felt you built the bullpen with different looks in terms of arm deliveries. So you want a Darren O'Day, you want a lefty sidearm. This guy would fit a different look.
He's been sitting 96 on the radar gun, according to the TrackMan software. The 0-2 got him swinging. Just gas and beautiful work for a couple of strikeouts in very short order thus far for Seth Blair.
Wow, this is impressive. It doesn't matter where you're throwing. You can say, okay, this is a taxi squad. Just watching this, that would play.
I'm wholeheartedly in agreement with you, Mike.
That's 96 downward movement. Look at the arm angle.
Jonathan Lucroy. So now he's facing a former Major League All-Star. I know Lucroy does not hit quite the way he did 4 or 5 years ago, but still, this is a nice test for Mr. Blair.
And Lucroy might be a nice guy to back him here and say, you know what, you're pretty good.
0-1. He's located it extremely well. 0-2. We've seen 2 pitches thus far in the arsenal. It's the fastball and a curve. It's an over-the-top curveball that he's thrown one time that was 85 miles an hour. That last foul ball that Lucroy hit came off the fastest pitch velocity-wise in 97.
Yeah. But I like the arm slot to throw like you were surprised out of the gate. That arm angle to throw that hard.
Let's see if he can strike out the side.
And if he goes right at him, that tells you something about him, too.
The 0-2 pitch. Got him swinging. 3 strikeouts on, I believe, 10 pitches, Mike. And Blair is coming on in to his catcher, Jet Bandy. They're going to walk off the mound and say, that is enough. And I will agree that is enough. That was fabulous. We've been watching some fantastic mound work here from the sim games, but I don't remember seeing any 1/2 inning that came anywhere close to approximating what Seth Blair just did.
No, those guys had no chance. I mean, just watching it. We are officially done. We're getting the word from down on the field and Dan Fontaine, but that was impressive. And his backstory to go along with it.
It really, I'll tell you what, that was worth the price of admission here today.
And we didn't have to pay.
These guys, by the way, are watching up on the video board now and taking a look at what Kyle Hart is doing, working with a 3-2 lead up at Fenway.
Well, Josh, you know this, how much the guys love their teammates. So this is one of their brothers that's throwing, and they're excited. But that was really good watching what Blair just did.
You know, I can only imagine what Paul Abbott, the pitching coach here for this alternate training site, Sean Haviland, the pitching coordinator, I can imagine what's going through their mind having just seen that. 3 strikeouts on 10 pitches. Almost an immaculate inning.
And glad to bring that for everyone watching, too.
So the story of the day, again, were the arms. Tanner Houck goes 2 innings, does not allow a hit or a run. And then also scoreless 1 innings from Tapia, Alvarez. Later on, Layer, and then we finish it off with Blair. So not a single run. I think, Mike, you do a better job remembering this than I. Did we have just 1 hit in this entire game, I believe?
Yeah, Duran, that double and a walk.
And the Duran hit was a broken bat.
Yeah, and Puyo walked. But that was it. And that was on – no, that was – did Duran single – what was the one that was – oh, that was Dahlbeck, right?
Dahlbeck took a walk.
On a 4-2 count.
Yeah. So 2 base runners in 3 scoreless innings is all we had. We want to thank everybody for tuning in here this afternoon. We're back at it tomorrow earlier for you. Make note of the time. Should be at 1 o'clock thereabouts. But if you check your Twitter feed or your Facebook feed, we'll be starting it up and you'll get a notification exactly when we do. As always, it's presented by our friends at Bank of America. For everybody up here in the press box, in charge of our productions, Joe Jacobs, Tim Quidadamo. Thanks to Alex Richardson, Dan Fontaine, and my broadcast partner has been Mike Antonellis. I'm Josh Maurer. Hey, just an hour for you here today, but we had fun bringing it to you. Talk to you tomorrow afternoon from Sim City. So long, everyone.